We'll talk about self-employment. As I mentioned earlier, there has been a clarification in the rules about whether someone who owns part of the sponsoring employer can be sponsored as an H-1B. And for us, that has always been the case. We've helped many people who own the company that sponsors them from H-1B to get an H-1B. So, for example, we've worked with physicians in particular who even own 100% of their practice, and their practice does sponsor their H-1B. So they're 100% working pretty much for themselves, but through an LLC or a corporation. So that's always been possible, but there's been a little more definition in those rules with the new January 17th rules. So if you want to be self-employed, it's potentially possible through an H-1B visa even if you own 100% or less. It could be 100% or less, as long as there is a company structure set up. So it has to be, you have to form a corporation or an LLC, which would be considered a distinct entity, a distinct person from yourself. So you're not saying, I, as an individual person, am sponsoring my H-1B. It is your company that you have created that is sponsoring your H-1B. And then, of course, the work that you're going to do for that company has to be in a specialty occupation. You cannot just say, I'm going to be a manager, I'm just going to be a business owner and do an H-1B that way. You have to be actually performing some work, a majority of your work related to your profession. So, for example, if you're a physician, an engineer, a software developer, whatever, you would need to show that the majority of your time will be spent doing that specific duty, and some part-time could be doing the management of the business as well. So what's different now with this new rule? If you own, the H-1B employee owns more than half of the company, as I mentioned, up to 100%, you can apply for an H-1B visa. So you need to show that you spend most of your time, over 50% of your time, as I mentioned, doing that specialized work, using your special skills, your specific skills and education related to the specialty occupation. However, you can also have management duties as long as you are primarily focusing on your specialized work. But if you spend 10-20% of your time as a CEO, managing the business, directing other employees, trying to get business for your business, all those things can still be done as long as the majority of your time is spent doing the specialty occupation work. But there is a limit on the time that you can, at least initial time that you can hold an H-1B visa if you're self-employed. And so if you are applying based on this self-employment rule, then the first time you apply for this, you will get 18 months time frame for the H-1B, and then you can renew for another 18 months. And then after that, you can renew in 3-year periods, which is the typical time frame. But of course, you still have the maximum of 6 years that you can spend on an H-1B unless you have a green card application in process, which allows you to extend beyond the